What's up, guys? Farzin Vasugian here with you to recap. Pretty damn good first half for the Chiefs. Look, I'll just say this right now. The only complaint I have about that first half, two things. One was the opening drive, not being able to get a score there, because that was my thing before the game. I said you got to start off with an opening drive touchdown. Just to make a point about your offense. Well, they didn't do that. They've done pretty much everything else. Unfortunately, the only bad that's happened is the whole Juwan Taylor situation, which, I don't know how crazy you guys are about that right now. I don't even get it. He did this in week one, not an issue. I mean, the referees are right there and they see it in week one. He apparently did it all last year. Lane Johnson's constantly doing it. But I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. It's just an ongoing thing that's continuing with Juwan Taylor. Listen, I don't know. I'd love to talk to someone that's maybe more familiar with the rules than I am. Not just familiar with the rules, but also specifically familiar with that specific player from past experiences. Because again, apparently Juwan Taylor did this all of last year. Juwan Taylor is a great pass blocker. It's just this whole snap situation. I guess it doesn't. I don't know. I just don't get it. The one bad thing that did happen is Patrick Mahomes. Robert's mentioning it on the in the chat is Ngakoue ran into him, was already on his way down, but just ran into Mahomes. Obviously looked unintentional. But Mahomes, Mahomes is Mahomes. The dude's a tough guy, and he finishes games. I mean, look at that Jaguars game. If you saw quarterback, you saw this guy refusing to leave. Like even when they needed to tape up his ankle just for one play, he was gonna miss. He's like, no, I don't have time. The timeout's almost over. I need to go back in. Like he wouldn't even wait for the training staff. And when you're Mahomes, you kind of do have more power over a lot of people out there. So hopefully it's not too serious. Obviously they have an opportunity in the locker room, right? Like I'm sure right now that is what they are doing as we speak, literally. Like that has to be what they're checking out. He seemed to do just fine in those last couple of plays right there to try to finish off the first half. Look, you're up 34-0. Obviously, you would love to compete with the Miami Dolphins for most points scored in one day. That'd be kind of cool, but it's also not the most important thing in the world. So I think the Chiefs can go out there and maybe think about. I would put Mahomes. I would leave Mahomes in if he's capable. I mean, if he's in a lot of pain right now in the locker room, like if the training staff feels like this is not worth the risk whatsoever, then obviously take him out. But I think if he appears to be okay, let him start the second half and go run heavy. I mean, there's no reason to go crazy with passes. I know this is a pass first team, but when you're up 34-0, that's not really necessary to do. So, the 34-0 score, it sounds great, especially when you consider the amount of points the Chiefs have scored in the first half is it just completely more than what the Bengals have scored in 2 games this year. So there you go. The Chiefs already scoring more points than they have in the first 2 games. So this is good to see. But if you want to take it easy, I mean, go run heavy if you want to leave Mahomes in there. But if you think that it's bad enough, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting Chad Henne in there early. There really isn't. I wouldn't even mind if they kept him in the locker room to start off the second half just to maybe work on that ankle a little bit, see what's going on, try to figure some things out. Listen, I know there's this whole thing. You don't ever underestimate teams. I'm not a player. I don't care. I'm not a coach. I don't need to do those things. You're playing the freaking Jets next week. Chad Henne. Yeah, I meant Blaine Gabbert. Sorry, guys. I mean, there's so much going on in this game. You have 34 points. You're just assaulting the Bears. And Taylor Swift is at the game. By the way, have you guys noticed Greg Olson's commentary? He seems extremely frustrated that he seems extremely frustrated that the Bears are letting Mahomes do whatever. It's like the guy put money down on the Bears. Listen, I get it. I mean, okay, whatever. But man, at least try to come off objective. I mean, the guy gets frustrated when the Chiefs get a penalty that was correctly called. And Greg Olson's a former Bear, isn't he? So I don't know. I guess there's some bias there. But the dude sounds extremely angry that, Mahomes is doing whatever he wants to do. You guys think it was intentional? I don't know. I mean, you look at the replay, he's already like on his way down. Matt Nagy taking this personal. Yeah. He's on the other side, the team that fired him, and he's putting up 34 on them to start. That's you can tell he definitely wants to score more. Joe says we need Taylor Swift at every game. Chiefs have not allowed a score since Taylor Swift has attended games. By the way, speaking of not allowing scores, in 10 quarters so far to start the season, the Chiefs have only allowed 2 touchdowns, and that was in week 1. So this defense, and listen, obviously this is the Chicago Bears we're talking about, but this is still what you're supposed to do. Okay, go out there and dominate in all 3 phases. Washington coming in with a couple of solid returns for the Chiefs so far. The defense playing lights out, getting 2 turnovers. They got their first interception of the season. I thought it was going to go to Justin Reed. That was my prediction, but hey, Mike Edwards is just fine with me. And then the forced fumble from Trent McDuffie, pretty good. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Chiefs so far. And I think even if you do switch to Blaine Gabbert, I think you can keep this going. Keep the pressure on and don't let up. Andrew says bench Taylor. I don't know, man. Listen, great blocking tackle. He really is. It's just this whole pre-snap shit. Like I don't even get it at this point. I thought he did this all last year. But I guess you got to figure it out because it did cost you a touchdown at the end right there. Marquez Valdes-Scantling wide open, which sucks because it's not like there was like an illegal pick or anything that allowed him to get wide open. It's like a penalty that didn't even impact the play. But yeah, I'm with you, Corey. Run up the scoreboard. I want to see. I mean, if Mahomes is fine, sure. Go compete with the Dolphins. You're not even playing the Bears anymore. You're competing with the Dolphins for most points scored in one day. Hey guys, come back after the game. We will do a post-game live stream. It'll coincide with our podcast, the Chiefs Zone podcast, and I'll put in the links for you guys to call in. A lot of people have not been calling in ever since we switched to StreamYard. I don't know if people prefer the old way versus the new way. I prefer the new way because that's way easier to read comments. It's still pretty easy to call into the show. You just got to click the link. Maybe I need to do a better job of putting that in the description for the title when we do the post-game live chat. So make sure you guys join after the game. Immediately once the game is over, we will do a post-game live stream, aka/podcast, post-game podcast. So make sure you guys join me for that. Otherwise, the Chiefs are kicking ass, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so with Mahomes or with Gabbert to finish off the game. And hey, what a great first game for Taylor Swift to attend. She will remember this forever. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Peace out. Talk to you after the game.